Scott Memhard of Cape Pond Ice Company has been carrying on a 166-year-old tradition of ice making in Gloucester. I really enjoyed hanging out at the ice house, and I got a cool sweatshirt. But I keep thinking about those spirits waiting back at Ryan and Wood Distilleries. So, I'm heading back there to wrap up my Gloucester trip. Bob Ryan is now going to show me how the distilling process begins.
Well, the first thing we do is grind the grains. We've done that. We're cooking the grains, converting the starch to sugar, and that's the noise you're hearing in the background as an impeller is in there pushing things around so they don't separate. We're going to move this mash into our fermenters.
From reaction tank number 1, we're going to move it over to the fermentation tank?
Yes.
Do you want to grab one end and I'll grab the other?
No, we have this beautiful little displacement pump here that's going to push that very heavy material into that tank. But we need somebody up that ladder.
I'll volunteer for that.
Take the hose with you and we'll be ready to have that push in. Now there's going to be a little kickback, so make sure you have a grip on it.
Okay.
Filling it in from the top is helpful because it's going to mix, and as it splashes around, I'm going to add some oxygen in there, which will help feed the yeast. We're pretty much done there.
Yeah, I think so. That was great. What's next?
We'll pitch the yeast in there. It'll take about 5 or 6 days for nice, slow, low fermentation.
Okay. 5 to 6 days. Boy, making grade A spirits sure is time consuming. Luckily, Doug was around to show me the rest of the process. Now that Bob and I did the mashing with the grains, can you explain the rest of the distilling process to me?
Sure. The point of mashing the grains was to put yeast in there after we've converted to sugar. The yeast will actually consume the sugar, create alcohol. That's pretty much brewing beer, as you're familiar with. Now that we have that distiller's beer, or wash as we call it, we'll pump that into the still here. This is the heart of the operation. Not a lot different than your basic moonshine still from the backwoods.
A little bigger.
Yeah, a little bit bigger, which is good for us to make some capacity.
It's a really pretty still. It looks custom made to me, it has to be.
Yep, at the time we bought this is a German-made model. There wasn't an American one that could do all the versatility we needed for gin, vodka, whiskey. You have to pretty much do a custom job for your building.
And everything you make is made in the same equipment.
It is, yep, which leads to a lot of cleaning for yours truly and polishing. Anyone who has ever cooked with alcohol knows that the alcohol will boil off at a lower temperature, leaving behind the water and organic materials. So what we're gonna do is vaporize and take off all the alcohol vapors. They'll travel through all this copper until we finally use this tube and shell condenser that's real cold with cold water. And we'll condense them back to their liquid form, where we'll have them as what we call distillate. Here I have actually a drum filled with rum distillate. Don't totally stick your head in there, but just for a little aroma.
Oh yeah, that's rum, all right.
To give everyone an idea, it's coming out of there totally clear. So that's what the barrel aging does, is all the color and a lot of the flavor.
Doug, we are obviously ready to taste some spirits, so why don't you lead the way?
This is the fun part. We're gonna take a look at 2 of our spirits today. First is gonna be our straight rye whiskey, a single barrel product aged 3 to 4 years. So we only ever get about 350 bottles of it. I have to take one as well with you, of course.
Of course. I wouldn't have it any other way, Doug. So you smell it first?
Yep, take a little bit of the nose. You may notice that little bit of rye spice or bite. Breathe in with it and enjoy the flavor.
Okay, here it goes. Ooh, that has a bite.
The rye bite, that's what we talked about.
Wow, that's something else.
Now on the total opposite end of the spectrum is gonna be our knockabout gin. We've taken pains to lower a little bit of that juniper flavor. You see this one's nice and clear, remembering that it's spent no time in a barrel.
That's very good, very clean. It's a very clean taste. That's really nice.
Right on, that's what we're looking for, great.
Doug, thank you for tasting these spirits with me. They're both amazing.
It's been my pleasure. It's the funnest part of the job.
If you ever need a taster, tester, give me a call.
Sure, we've got a long line, but you jump to the front of it.
Today I had the pleasure of visiting some places I've never been before, and I also had the chance to visit with an old friend. The Cape Pond Ice Company is an iconic New England company. Like the Fisherman's Memorial, it's almost a landmark. It's been around since 1848. Scott hasn't been around quite that long, but he's a great guy. Everywhere you go in Gloucester, you can smell delicious seafood in the air. And at the Cape Ann Brewing Company, you not only have delicious food in general, but amazing craft beer as well. Jeremy Goldberg does a great job. I can't say enough good things about it. Ryan and Wood Distilleries rounded off an amazing tour of Cape Ann. They make delicious spirits, and you can stop by for an educational visit with Bob Ryan and his son Doug. I hope you enjoyed this trip to Gloucester. I'm Greg Bogosian. I'll see you next time on the New England Traveler.